welcome to my channel, Stitch & Style by Nadia, and another Friday Sews. Today is Sunday and we're just having a relaxing morning, and then my husband's mum is going to come round for tea, which she normally does either on a Saturday or a Sunday. And I'm wearing just a relaxed dress. This is the Wilder gown dress. I'll just take my cardigan off to show you it. So it's in a viscose challis material from Rainbow Fabrics, which is black with these little polka dots on in different colours. Very pretty fabric, I think. And it's I just made a couple of tweaks to the Wilder gown pattern based on my first twirl of it. One of the things was just to bring this shoulder seam here back by about a centimetre. I felt like they were sitting a bit too far forward for me. I also finished the end of the ties before I turn them inside out. In the pattern they suggest to leave them unfinished and then when they're sewn up just tuck it in and top stitch it, but I couldn't get a neat finish on mine, so I decided to finish the end and then turn it inside out on this one. I've also just sewn the tie into the back just to stop it from moving around or falling out. And I lengthened the bodice. I'm not sure by how much, but you can see it kind of sits nearer to my natural waist. And the other tweak that I've done is to put quite a small ruffle on the bottom. Now onto the first thing that I want to talk about, and that is my review of Fayma patterns. So if you watched my last Friday Sews, you will know that I ordered 2 patterns from Fayma. And Fayma is a website where they take all your measurements and they take 2 photos of you, one front on and one side on, in you wearing tight fitting clothing. I was wearing a pair of tights and a vest top with spaghetti straps and my bra for the photos, and my husband helped me to take 39 measurements of myself. Some of the measurements I already knew, but I took them again just to make sure, and some of them were based on a couple of points, the nape of your neck and the side of your neck here, and your shoulder. And yeah, we took them all as best that we could. The only one that we had a little bit of an issue with was forward projection of the shoulder. Now my husband kept insisting that it was 2 inches, but when I tried to enter in 2 inches into the website, it said that that was not possible. It said on women it's normally 0.4 of an inch. So based on my husband saying that mine was 2 inches, I just guessed at 0.5, just slightly above what they said the average was. So that was the only one where I had to kind of guess. The other one, we followed their videos and instructions as best we could to try and get accurate measurements, and I think we did pretty well at getting accurate measurements. I ordered 2 patterns from them. So one was the Esmeralda skirt, which is a maxi length circle skirt, and I talked about that in my previous vlog. And the other one was the Sarafan dress here, and they're the line drawings of it. So it's a simple fitted top bodice, and there isn't any waist seam in it. It just goes straight down to below the knee. It's got a split up the back and an invisible zipper, and you can see darts at the back and there's some darts at the front as well, bust darts and waist darts, and then there's 2 pockets, patch pockets on either side, and some belt loops and a belt, and even tells you about how to make the belt. Now, I've had a good look at this pattern, and I wanted to go through like my thoughts about it, and I'm going to be completely honest because they haven't paid me to do this or anything. I basically was really interested in getting a really nice close-fitted bodice that would suit my body shape, and I watched Alex Judge sews, and her dress looked absolutely fantastic, and I thought if I could get a similar fit from a dress, I would be absolutely delighted. I know her dress did have a little bit of stretching, which can help with fitting. So this dress is for woven fabrics, and it's from 0 to 2% stretch. And I would be making it with 0% stretch, just the standard woven materials. I printed out all the pattern pieces and stuck together the front and the back and the sleeves. And because there's no waist seam on it, it's not a separate bodice, it's just all in one. So it's the full dress, and I stuck all the pieces together and I cut that out. On the pieces there was a notch round about the waist seam, and what I decided to do, because I just wanted to make the top of the dress, because that's the bit that I'm really interested in. So I decided to do a straight line between each notch at the waist point on the front and the back, and I cut the pattern pieces off at that point. Now, it does say that in the pattern that you might not have bust darts. So I was interested to see about whether I would have bust darts. As I've said before, I would normally need a small bust adjustment on patterns that are drafted for a B cup, because I am a dressmaker's A cup. My upper bust is 36 inches, my full bust is 37 inches, and then my under bust is 32 inches. My version did have both bust darts and the waist darts, and darts on the shoulder. So I made a twirl of the bodice, and I'm just going to pop that on now to show you. So I've just made it in this material that's, I think it's a polyester, that I've had in my stash for some time, that I bought from Minerva quite a while ago when I was first sewing, and I didn't like it when I first bought it, and I still don't like it now, so that's why I'm just using it just for practicing, especially for like viscose materials where I want to make something in a viscose, and I wouldn't necessarily want to make it in calico or anything because it's quite a bit thicker. So yeah, I've just used this material, and this is the bodice. Now obviously I've not put the invisible zip in the back, I've just stitched it up. I've just undone a couple of stitches at the back so I can get it on over my head. The first thing that I notice is the arms are so tight. I thought, oh, have we made a mistake when measuring? But I want to show you. So for the arms, we did a wrist circumference and an upper arm circumference, and then the total length from the shoulder to the forearm. Oh, and I should mention that I did cut the arms off because I wasn't that interested in the arms at the bottom. I was just interested in how they fit at the top. But I wanted to show you the measurement that we took. So you can see there that my upper arm is 11 inches. And that fits around. I mean, to be fair, if I was to fit like a finger underneath that, it would be 11 1/8 of an inch. But there doesn't seem to be any wearing ease whatsoever in my arm, and it's tight all the way down. But actually, that bit of my arm where it tells you to do it from underneath the armpit is actually not the widest part of my bicep, because my bicep muscle here is bigger. It goes bigger, and I think they're assuming that that bit there from underneath your armpit and round would be the widest part, whereas the widest part on my arm is, I mean, this is why you have to have someone to help you normally, but I don't think my husband will agree to appear on camera, so I'm just going to try and do it myself. I need one of those captions that Sean has, kittenish behaviour, which says 1 eternity later. So that's probably there, 11 and what would you say, probably 11 3/8 of an inch around the widest part. Now, bust measurement is another one, and it's not quite sitting right on my bust. Can you see there? It has quite this, it's just not quite right. It needs like a pinch of fabric taking out of the bust. And as you can see it as well on that side, although the lighting isn't as good on that side, but you can see there, and I really don't know how I can fix that. Do I need a small bust adjustment on it? I don't know whether I need this dart here and whether that's creating it, or it looks like it should be sitting a little bit higher. I don't know, but the volume is in the wrong place for my bust. I don't know, like, if you can see that a little bit better there. But we've got this bit of material here. The whole advantage of buying this from this pattern company is that it kind of fits straight out of the packet. Well, you would hope so, but in my case, it just doesn't fit. And I might have been a little bit mean with my arm measurement, so yeah, we could maybe allow a little bit for that. If it had fit, I would have been absolutely delighted with it. And I do think that even though it's a very thick booklet with instructions on it, they are really well written, really clear, and they go through everything step by step. They tell you how to do your bust darts, they tell you different techniques, they've got diagrams. It's just suddenly gone quite dark in here. Yeah, they give you diagrams, they give you pictures, they give you written instructions, and they're all really thorough. So no complaints whatsoever on that front. Hi. So it's Wednesday now, and I have an update for you on the Fayma pattern that I tried out. So I did my first practice at the weekend, and then on Monday morning I decided to contact them to just let them know about my experience with trying their pattern, and just to see if they would be interested in getting in touch with me to try and resolve the issues. And I thought that was the least that I could do after my experience. And I must say that they were so helpful. They were really, really good, and got back to me within a couple of hours and said that that they would be happy to give me a new file with some tweaks of the measurements. I told them about my bicep issue, so they asked me for the measurement of the fullest part of my bicep, and I've put that up to 11.8, I think. So hopefully that's plenty of room. They asked me about the measurement from the bottom of my neck, across my shoulder and all the way down to past my wrist. And I had it as 27.5, but when I re-measured it, it was 29.5 if you go from the bottom of my neck. So that measurement was tweaked as well, and they said that that made a difference. Now, I also changed the measurement of my shoulder, so from the bottom of my neck to the tip of my shoulder, which I had as 6 inches, and I think it's probably 5.5 inches, except when I did put it in again, I put 5 inches, which I think was probably not right. On my first practice bodice, I will say that the shoulder was looking a little bit low. So the reason why I changed it was because when I went back into and looked at my measurements, that one said it seems too long, and that's the reason why I changed it, and I didn't realise that that would then change for the pattern. Anyway, so yeah, tweaked some of the measurements, and they sent me a new file, and they also sent me a half print file. So I believe that when you download your pattern, you can choose between all of the pattern pieces or just half of the pattern pieces, and then when you cut it out, you would just flip the piece over to cut out. So say if you've got the left side, you just then flip it over and to do the right side, which is standard on most patterns. So they sent me 2 files. One was the full pages and one was the half pages, and I just printed out the half page for the front bodice and the sleeves to see if it's going to make a difference on the fit. Now, I put together the bodice last night and I tried it on, and it is a little bit better, but there is still a little bit too much volume around the bust area, and I will just pop it on now to show you. I've only just finished the sleeves and I've not tried it on yet, so this is going to be the moment of truth. Here's my updated bodice. So this is my second one, and as you can see, the arms are much better, although they still feel a little bit tight on the full range of movement. Just maybe a little bit like under there. I don't know. They're not altogether comfortable. They're comfortable now on the width of the sleeve. So the back piece is the same as the original back piece. There was no changes to that. And when you actually looked at the pattern pieces, they didn't actually look that much different. With the bust, I am still getting the same issue as before. And it's not that there is too much ease in the pattern at all, because as you can see, it's really close fitting. So I think when I was trying to describe it to them via email, it didn't kind of, maybe I didn't explain it very well, but I think that they'd got the impression that I felt it was just too big, which is not the case. It's kind of the shape more than the ease overall, because I would be happy with a bit more ease and even across the bust area. It's the shape of the bust area that I feel is kind of a bit of the problem, because if you look at it from there, you can see here, this is, I can pinch out like a thumb at the top and a finger at the bottom, and it's just that fabric there is giving me volume where I don't actually need it, and it's creating a funny shape at the side. I showed it to my husband and he agrees that it doesn't look quite right. So I was thinking, is this me being really picky about this? But I don't think it is, and I don't know whether you can see that the shape around the bust is not quite right on me. What I might try and do, and I'll see if this makes a difference, is this dart here. There's a dart here that runs up, and then there's a dart here that runs up, and I think this dart here is doing the job properly, but it's this dart here that I'm not sure whether I need it or whether it's just not creating the right shape on me. When you kind of get in these issues, it's a little bit disheartening, because you feel like, well, I put in my measurements, and then you're kind of scrutinising your own body and thinking it's my body that's not right or is not, needs to change basically. But I had to kind of talk myself out of that mindset and think, well, it's the pattern, this is supposed to be made for my body, and it's the pattern that's supposed to be working for me, not the other way round. So I did have to think about that a little bit. And I'm not saying that for everybody would have these same issues. I just honestly describing the issues that I'm having with it. And maybe if somebody from Fayma sees this and can kind of understand where I'm coming from about this bodice, then maybe that they can, resolve it. What I'm going to try and do though is to re-sew here and just take a bit more out, and see if that makes a difference. So I'm just going to try that now on my machine. I didn't want to try anything first because I wanted to show you like the tweaked bodice and how it looked on me first, but I want to try that and see if that works, or I might try and eliminate this dart or do a small bust adjustment on the pattern piece. So because I think I still need the width of the bodice, just without this volume, just that volume there. So yeah, I'm going to try that and see if that works. So that little quick adjustment has made it better, but it's still got a bit of an issue here with still just a pinch of fabric that's kind of sitting like a little bit of a funny shape on me. It's not as bad on that side, but you can still see it kind of there. So I'm undecided what I'm going to do with this pattern piece. I love the back pattern piece. The back pattern piece fits perfectly. It fits like a dream. And if I could just get this bust issue sorted out, I would just have to perhaps do a little bit of a tweak here just to give me some more room. I am really pleased I've given it a try because I was really excited about the concept of it and trying out this kind of new way of doing patterns. And I think if they can get it right for most people, then they've got a brilliant idea and business model. And I don't know whether it's maybe just a small percentage of people that it's not working for, I don't know. As Fayma have been so helpful, and they got back to all my emails really quickly. I had a new pattern piece by the end of the day on Monday, which was just excellent customer service, and I can't speak more highly of how they've handled the issues that I was having, albeit, you know, they've not resolved it, but I don't know whether I really expected them to be able to, based on descriptions that are in an email. And they were also battling with the fact that I'd not taken very accurate measurements. So overall, I would say it was a positive experience, and one that I have actually enjoyed, trying out this concept and the bodice. And so I wouldn't discourage anybody from trying it to see how they found it. I think maybe with dresses, maybe with a little bit more stretch or looser fitting garments, you will probably get a really nice fit on it. It's not a huge amount of money for the pattern, but just to note that once you've put in your measurements and you've generated the pattern, if you want to update any of the measurements and reprint it, then there is a cost associated with that. So I've not had to pay again for them to tweak the measurements to and send me the pattern again, which I was really appreciative of, actually, because some of it I think was my fault for not entering my measurements all that accurately. I hope that has been helpful and you've enjoyed seeing what I've done with it. So let me know what you think, and whether you're interested in giving Fayma a try. I just have to give my honest experiences and thoughts. So definite positives. I think maybe room for improvement on fit. For me, anyway, that was my experience. So, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Okay, bye now.